Hi.
Hi. You're recording already.
It is, yep.
Okay.
Getting right to it.
Right to it.
So we're just gonna wait a sec for Meow and Hellwood to join, and then we'll start our little video. Ooh, are you wearing an HRD crop top too?
I sure am.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. In my lovely house.
Yeah, me too. In my home office.
Excited to watch and talk about some derby in lieu of actually playing. But
Heck yeah.
hopeful to play again soon.
I'm wearing real pants right now.
Oh my God.
Oh, hey, we have a new kitty friend.
Yes, this is Otis. Oh, he's not happy.
Oh yeah, Otis is like, I don't want to talk derby.
Well, he's mine too. Okay, bye.
Well, hey, friends online. I'm Brawn with Picard, and we are starting a new series called Talk Derby to Me. And we're really hoping to just share a little bit about what's going on the track for our fans who may be watching Derby for the first time or wondering about strategy or official calls. So we're going to do some explaining while we watch some Derby footage. So like I said, I'm Brawn. And who else do we have today?
I'm Meow. I'm one of our all-three coaches, and I help ref occasionally.
I'm Hellwood Blues. I'm a referee, and I'm the head of officiating for Humboldt Roller Derby.
My name is Sass-a-Thrash. I am a blocker on Route Force and still kind of a newbie to Derby. Been on the team for a year.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to watch some footage from the game that we played pretty recently. Let's see, this was in February of 2020. And it's going to start with the second jam. And let's just play it and we'll stop it and talk about what we're seeing. Are you guys all seeing the video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. It's not playing yet. All right, so everyone's set up for a jam here. I'll play it for just a second and then we can talk about what we're seeing. Okay, so what are you guys seeing here?
Right now, it looks like this is the beginning of the jam. So the jam officially starts when Jeannie, our lovely jam timer over there, you'll hear them give a warning, a 5-second warning. At the end of that, she will blow a whistle. That signals the beginning of the jam.
Cool. And then what's this line over here?
That is the jam line. So that's the line that separates our jammers who start off the jam wearing a star helmet cover on their helmets from the blockers. The blockers are the people who are trying to stop the jammers from getting through and ultimately scoring points. So the jammers and the blockers are separated by a line back there.
Okay, cool. And I see one person here that has, I know that they have a star on their helmet. You can't really see it right now, but that's the black jammer. The red jammer is not in the frame. Oh no, they're right back here. So right back here is the red jammer, and then all these people are blockers. Meow, could you tell us why this person has a stripe on their helmet?
Yeah, the stripe is called the pivot, and this person, they can receive the star from a jammer on a star pass, and that makes them the new jammer, and that's a pretty cool privilege.
Cool. You'll often see the person with the stripe on their helmet, the pivot, playing offense too. I think that probably varies depending on the team strategy, but that's something to kind of look for. I'm going to stop my share for just a minute because I realize that since I can see you, that means the footage isn't optimized. So bear with me just a sec. Okay, here we go.
There's that 5-second warning.
That was a nice loud 5 seconds.
Good.
Amy's got pipes. So what's this person over here doing?
That is our lovely referee, Anya the Bunny Slayer. Right now, it looks like she is signaling a track cut call on the black jammer. The black jammer stepped out of bounds, and in doing so, actually passed at least one of the opposing skaters. And it looks like that earned her a penalty. She's got to exit the track once this penalty gets communicated to her, and then she needs to go sit in the penalty box for 30 seconds.
Bummer.
Okay.
And so our team, they're setting up in this cool formation. What's that all about?
It looks like we were unfortunately on a power jam against our team, which is not our favorite. So it looks like our blockers were doing a really good job of setting up front so they'd be able to run from offense if needed, or be able to just kind of sit on the other team. Looks like everyone was really ready for the jammer to hit, and they did a good job.
And how long is the jammer in the box for?
30 seconds per penalty.
Okay. You ready to play?
Yes.
Okay.
Ready. So there's lots of whistles there, and someone else just ran off the track. Is that maybe another penalty?
Yeah, another cut call, another cutting the track penalty. This time on a blocker.
Ooh.
What does a blocker have to do to get a cut track penalty?
Same thing. If they go out of bounds and they pass up an opposing skater, that earns them a penalty. Even if they go out and if they pass two of their own skaters, that will also earn them a penalty.
Oh.
So if someone hits you out of bounds, you need to go in behind that person and everyone else who was in front of you. So a lot of times what you'll see is skaters get hit out of bounds, and then everyone, or at least one person who was in front of them, runs opposite direction. So they go backwards. Well, that skater who got knocked out of bounds, in order to not get a penalty, needs to go in behind them. So they call that recycling typically. So you'll see that a lot.
So this is a good frame to talk about the officials. I see a lot of officials, and I know fans sometimes say, what are all these people doing in the striped shirts? So could you explain briefly like what this person and this person are doing, who's in the middle of the track?
So the officials we have on the outside of the track, as far as skating officials go, those are considered the outside pack refs. What they're typically looking for is they are looking for certain penalties, and they have that very good perspective of being on the outside. On the inside of the track, as far as skating officials go, we've got two jammer refs. Their duties are to follow those jammers for each team and figure out who are they passing, also look for penalties on both the jammers and the blockers, and also keep track of score for their jammers in each jam. Then there's two pack penalties. So derby is played in a pack. So it's all the blockers essentially have to stay pretty close in proximity to each other. So those two referees, Hellwood Blues, myself, and Missy Elliott, are calling the pack, what they say. They're trying to keep all the blockers together and let them know whether or not they are forming a pack. So they're staying within 10 feet of each other, essentially. And then we also have our lovely non-skating officials as well. And they're there to make sure the game gets done on time. They're also recording information from the jam, such as like penalties and things like that, and lineups.
Oh, cool. So it looks like right now the red jammer is the only person on the track because that black jammer got a penalty at the start of the jam. And over here, you can kind of barely see them, but Wicked Lizard is the jam ref for the black team. And so that official is just facing the penalty box. So they're standing there waiting for the jammer to get out of the box.
Yep.
All right, let's play some more footage. Oh, I just saw that jammer go out and then run back. That was what you were talking about earlier, right, Hellwood?
Kinda, sorta, because in that situation though, the caveat to that is if the initiator either falls down or goes out of bounds. So it looked like black number 2, Bianca Swagger, was the initiator of the block. So yes, Bianca Swagger hit that jammer out, but then Bianca Swagger also went out of bounds. Therefore, she lost her superior position. Sometimes you see referees doing a signal like this. That means the initiator of the block went out of bounds. That was a perfect scenario of, hey, initiator of the block went out of bounds. If this red jammer goes in front of black 2, Bianca Swagger, they're not going to get a penalty.
Okay, I'm going to replay that again so we can see it. So the red jammer just had to go in between those other 2 black skaters that were in the front.
And here comes our jammer.
Yay!
Man, I miss roller derby.
I know, I miss it so much.
And so, no.
What were you going to say?
So the other, I don't even remember now. I think the other team, their blocker stopped blocking and like stood back a little. What is that all about?
So their blocker is doing what we call bridging. Hellwood mentioned earlier that you have to be within a certain distance from the other members of the pack in order to keep actually playing derby. So do you want to explain that really quick, just how like the top of the engagement zone works?
Yeah, sure. So the pack is considered to be, it's only taking blockers into consideration. So the jammers don't play into the pack at all. The pack is defined as the group of skaters comprised of skaters of both teams, the largest group of them within 10 feet of each other. So what you'll see is like Meow just said, you'll see blockers bridge. So essentially they're making sure that they're within 10 feet of someone else who's in the pack. That way, essentially they can bridge out the pack. So if you imagine all those blockers just like, I guess 9.9 feet from each other, you could actually extend the pack, throughout most of the track. And that's kind of what they were doing, it looked like.
Oh, so that's why you'll see skaters just standing there on the track. Like while their teammates are fighting hard, they're just getting there a little
They what they're doing. They're actually doing the right thing.
They're playing smart derby.
Exactly.
When I first started watching derby, I thought they were just being lazy or taking a break.
What are they doing? They're bridging.
And then, so as far as the pack goes, you can still play roller derby within the pack, and you can either go outside of the pack and play roller derby. You can only do it within 20 feet of that last person, though. So even if someone's not necessarily in the pack, they could still play 20 feet in front and 20 feet behind the pack.
Yeah.
Sweet. So that's why they'll sometimes stop blocking the jammer after a little while.
What happens is they keep blocking the jammer past those final feet.
If they keep blocking them and there's some kind of impact there, So they're preventing the jammer from like going forward, then they can get a penalty. But also the jammer could get a penalty too. If the blocker is considered out of play and then the jammer initiates and there's impact there, if it's forceful contact or knocks them down, the jammer can get that out of play penalty as well.
Oh.
All those whistles. What did it mean?
That about?
3 sets of 4 short blasts signals the end of the jam.
Mm.
And what are these people doing with their fingers in the air?
So the jammer refs at the end of each jam and even during the jam, after each scoring pass, the jammer refs will hold up the points that their jammers earned. So at the end of the jam, you do it, and at the end of each scoring lap, you do that as well.
Okay, so in this half of the game, this jam ref is the jam ref for the red team. They're wearing a red like cuff bracelet thing. And this person over here, who's not quite in the screen, is wearing a black cuff for the black team, and they're holding up the number of points for their team.
I'm going up there. What do I want?
So Meow, you weren't in skates. Why would you go out there right now?
I have a lot of feelings, and sometimes I have to share them with people. So the bench coaches, particularly that I was wearing an A on one of my arms, or my leg actually, and I wanted to go talk to one of the refs about something I saw. It looks like I was doing this, so it's probably talking about an out of play thing that I was concerned about. We did talk about the bridging and what happens if you keep bridging, and it looks like I wanted a penalty. And I probably didn't get one, and that's okay.
I actually remember what this one was about. I was the head ref, so I was taking communications from both teams. That was about that cut call that got called on the first pass by the black jammer. You can put one hand or one arm out of bounds and still be considered to be in bounds. So they wanted to, Meow just wanted to make sure that that's not why the cut was called. I asked the referee on the outside who called the cut. She said, no, there's another, there's a toe stop, I believe it was, or a wheel that went out of bounds. So the cut call is good. A cut call stands.
Wah, wah.
Nice try.
Good try. And so now we see people on a different line on the track, starting the jam, all the blockers up there. What's that about?
That is what's called the pivot line. So like Meow said, the pivots can become the jammers if that star helmet cover gets passed legally to them. The other privilege the pivots get is they get to line up on that line. So if they are touching that line, everyone who's not a pivot needs to be lined up behind their hips. Doesn't matter if you're on their same team. That's another one of the kind of lesser privileges they get.
Okay, so this person's the pivot for the red team, and they've got their toe stop and their wheels on the line, but not over the line.
Yeah.
All right, let's watch. I just heard 2 whistles. What does that mean?
So the 2 short blasts references when someone earns lead jammer status. What you get to do if you're the lead jammer, you get to, if you decide to, you can end the jam before the full 2 minutes of the jam are up. So I guess teams use that strategy different ways, but it's definitely a nice privilege to be able to have to end the jam.
And how would the jammer end the jam? How do they signify that?
They have to tap their hips twice with their hands, at least twice. Sometimes you'll see jammers really trying to signal the refs, hey, I'm about to do it. Because you have to tap it twice and have it be seen tapped twice to actually get it called off. So if you see jammers flailing their arms and tapping, that's probably what they're doing.
Okay, cool. So that one ended early. It was kind of a short jam, I mean.
And was it short because a jammer called it off? Like, how long is a normal jam?
Jams are normally 2 minutes. In this case, it looks like the red jammer did call off the jam. They were lead jammer. You can call it off for a number of different reasons. I'm usually the one that does our team's call-offs, and I might call it early because they have a couple skaters in the box, and I want us to start with a pack advantage. This is pretty early in the game, and I think the red team probably called it off because our jammer was about to hit the pack and start scoring, and it looks like our jammer was actually successful and got a point or two.
Sweet.
David, I love point stealing.
So the lead jammer would try to call off the jam before the other team can score.
Yes, and it looks like this one was a little bit late for the red team, so we did score a couple of points.
Okay.
Yay.
How's the video quality?
Pretty good right now, actually.
Cool.
So yeah,
Okay,
that first L that jam rep is making, that's signaling their lead jammer. They didn't score 2 points right then.
Okay.
Hey, and since we're talking a lot about scoring points, how exactly does that work? Like, it looks like our jammer just got lead, so are they scoring points right now?
They need to make it through onto what's called a scoring pass. So the first time you go through the pack, that's your initial pass. You don't earn points yet. You have to lap each skater. So it's just like you know, any other kind of sport where people are going around on a track. You can pass them and then you could lap them. So you're considered lapping them after this the second time you pass them.
Okay, so you only score points starting with the second time around.
Yep.
Okay, and what are you doing with your arms here, Hellwood?
I am signaling mostly to my other referees that this is where the pack is. There might be some skaters like behind who are still within that 20-foot zone where they can still play roller derby. And there might be even some skaters who are up ahead of that 20-foot zone who can still play roller derby. But I'm trying to signal to the skaters, but mostly to the other referees, this is where the pack is.
It seems like that would constantly be changing.
It absolutely is.
People are rolling, right?
Yeah, and you even get situations where there's no pack. If there's no pack, then the blockers can't play roller derby. The blockers have to get back together. It's their responsibility, actually, to form that pack. If they don't do that, then you see blockers get penalties for that.
How do you signal no pack? What does that look like?
You take your arms and you go up with them, and you also have to yell no pack, and then you have to signal and yell again that the pack is here, so that all the skaters and all the officials know, okay, there's a pack now roller derby can commence, essentially.
Roller derby can commence.
Yes, our favorite.
Okay, it looked like these two people were holding on to each other and blocking the jammer, and then they dropped their arms. Why would they do that?
If you have an unbreakable bond essentially with your teammate, and it prevents one of the other skaters from getting through, that's actually called a multiplayer penalty, and this is our hand signal we use for that. A multiplayer block is what it's called. So essentially, if that link gets challenged by an opposing skater, you need to drop that link immediately. If you do end up actually preventing that person from getting through, then you will be awarded, well, I guess not awarded, you will be issued a penalty for that, a multiplayer block.
I like to think of them as awards.
Yeah, you earned it, so
Yay!
I guess
You earned it. So that sounds like it's really aimed at safety. What are some of the other penalties that people could get that are about safety?
So a lot of the other ones come from, they're kind of grouped together as like an unexpected contact penalty. Sometimes what those look like, the most common one you'll see us call usually is a back block. You cannot hit forcefully an opponent in between their shoulder blades, essentially, and that extends down through the buttocks. You can't hit them essentially like along the spine and along the tailbone there. That's the most common one you'll see.
Okay, and then what about your head?
Yeah.
You want to take this one?
Sure, yeah. Roller derby, as you can see on the screen here, when you're trying to get through a wall, sometimes you'll put your head down. Our skaters can't hit this person in their head, but this person also can't hit our skaters with their head. You cannot use your head to like ram through a wall. It's really unsafe. It's also not fair because you're presenting an illegal target zone and that our blockers can't, you know, just be hitting you in the face for very obvious reasons.
I think people maybe think that roller derby is the same now that as it was decades ago, and those are, I think, a few of the like important reasons why, you know, to point out about how it's different now, and a little more focused on safety.
Yeah, the number one question I get from people: oh, roller derby, can you punch people? No, you cannot punch people.
Oh, what would that be called if you punched someone?
Yeah, what happens then?
If you punch someone, that would be a misconduct.
Oh, okay.
You would probably get ejected from the game for that.
Yeah.
What if you accidentally punch someone in the face?
What if you accidentally punch someone?
Yeah, like, oops, I punched you in the face. My hand's over here. Whoops.
If it's an
maybe
accident, so you won't get expelled from the game. But here's the thing in roller derby is that you're responsible for your actions regardless of intention. So if you hit someone in the face, if you pop someone in the face by accident, you still earn that penalty. So you would probably get a high block penalty for that.
Okay.
I think the important difference between on purpose and accidentally with, you know, like punching people or misconduct penalties, you know, if I'm winding up and I'm really obviously mad at Hellwood and I go for it, that's clearly on purpose. Whereas I think he's talking about popping up. A lot of times jammers, like we're seeing on the screen, will come back up when you get out of the wall and maybe your arm goes up or your head pops back and you do make contact with someone's face. And that's hopefully not on purpose, but it is still worthy of a penalty.
You mentioned Hellwood and I think Meow, sort of the illegal contact zones, you know, definitely not wanting to hit people straight on in the back. What are good body parts that blockers can use to hit people legally?
So it seemed like you kind of had two different questions there. So blockers, the parts that blockers can use to hit people are different than the ones where they can hit people at. So the ones where the places that the blockers can use to block people, those are called the legal blocking zones. So as far as legal blocking zones, they can use above their elbow and up. They can't use their head or neck, like Meow just said. They can use their back to block someone. They can use their hips. You can use your butt. You can use, starting at your mid thigh and down, you cannot use that, however. And as far as the legal contact zones, so same thing, that mid thigh and down, you can't hit someone there. In the back, you can't hit.
Cohabitating during COVID-19, some background.
You can't hit someone above the head. You can hit someone in the arms, however. That's one of the places where you can hit someone. So you can use your legal target zone to hit someone in the arms. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play it.
Clarification.
There you saw Trey calling off the jam by going like that. Yeah. All right, let's watch one more and then call it good for a day.
Sounds good.
Jammer.
Oh, wait a second. It looks like this person's the jammer, but they're not wearing their star helmet cover anymore. Why would that be?
There's a couple different reasons. I think we often think of when someone takes the star off their helmet that they're trying to pass to the pivot, and that is something that does happen a lot, where you're passing it, so then the pivot becomes the jammer, and now that initial pass is complete. You can also take it off your helmet in an attempt to kind of confuse the other team, because then it's like, wait, they don't have a star, are they the jammer? And then you might have an opportunity to get by a little bit faster.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
the only
Mads
caveat. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Mads isn't wearing it right now. But where is the helmet cover then?
It's in their hand.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't hide it. You can't put it in your shirt and your pants. You can't wad it up into a little tiny ball in your hand. It has to be at least partially visible so the referees can tell who the jammer is.
And once you take it off, you're no longer able to become the lead jammer. But in this case, it doesn't matter because the red jammer already earned the lead jammer status. So, yeah.
And what's this person doing here as a
They're
reminder?
bridging. Yay, that's what we talked about earlier. They're trying to maintain the 10 feet between the first black skater here, who's Nacho, and then the next red skater. So their other red skaters can keep blocking our jammer legally.
Awesome.
Excellent call, Raz.
I was looking at that and being like, that should have been a penalty.
Someone gonna call that.
All right.
So yeah,
folks,
roller
that's
derby. It's got to be played in a what we call derby direction. So you gotta look at the clock, counterclockwise way. So if you're either stopped and you're hitting someone in a stop position and you're not moving forward, or if you actually skate clockwise, so not derby direction, and then block someone and it either sets them off balance or knocks them down or slows them down a lot, then you get a penalty. That's a direction penalty. So either your stop blocks and your direction blocks.
cool. Well, that seems like a good amount to cover for today. We'll do this again sometime.
Yay, it was fun.
Woohoo!
Oh, and we have to rep our shirts really quick because we're all wearing matching shirts
Oh yeah,
and we
we
didn't
have
even
the coolest
plan
crop
it.
tops on right now, and they're amazing.
We'll have them in our online store soon, so fans, keep an eye out for them.
Check them out, they're really cool.
Awesome. Thanks so much for helping out, y'all. This was our first edition of Talk Derby to Me, and we'll do it again soon.
Yay, fun.
Thanks, friends.
Bye.
Bye.